You're listening to PlayStation Unchained.
Hello and welcome to, I was about to say welcome to episode 83 of PlayStation Unchained, but it isn't in fact Unchained. It's a very special, hopefully not one-off, it'd be nice to do this again, Final Fantasy 14 Heavensward podcast. We've got we've got quite a few fans of the Final Fantasy series on the site. A few of them couldn't make it, a few of them haven't started playing the expansion yet, but it's been too long, and I've missed the guy as well. It's been too long since we chatted as well.
That's
we
good.
in fact got Carl with us today.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Just wrapping up some tasks for the day. Starting to think about playing Final Fantasy for the rest of the evening. Got to get this silly work stuff out of the way first.
Damn you, work!
I know.
Why are you in the way?
Oh God, my life is so hard. No, it's been good though. I to be honest, I wish I look at the people like on Reddit and stuff. See, I usually go to Reddit when I want to get my Final Fantasy news, and I look at all these people who are just burned through the story in 2 or 3 days. They were clearing Ravana Extreme and Bismarck Extreme by the weekend, and just like are already running out of things to do. Like they were waiting for a week just to play Alexander. I'm like, God, good Lord! Like I can't even. As you know, Chili, I have not finished the story yet. I am at a point that, well, I shouldn't really describe where I'm at in the story because Meagan, sitting to my left, has not hit that point herself. But yeah, we have someone totally new to the podcast with us.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, Megan. It's nice to have you on.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I wanted to say is expect Moogles. Moogles everywhere! All of the Moogles! All the time.
With their cute fuzzy butts.
That's totally true though, because we were actually just talking about this yesterday. The Moogles started to grate on us a little bit, like the churning mists. When we can talk about that because it's safe, it was. Oh my goodness, it wouldn't have been so bad if the quests wouldn't have all been so like. Exactly. Fetch and find in nature, and like it's really difficult fetch and find because the additional flying adds so much verticality that you're just in that one place for hours trying to find these guys.
I remember sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say I'll just give a shout out to all those folks that are playing Heavensward on PS3 because those Moogle quests are particularly hard for us because they do not show up right away. So you're flying your little airship around looking for those little fuzzy monsters, and they are not rendering.
Oh, that'd be horrendous. No wonder you upgraded to PS4 recently.
Because
of Moogles.
Yes. Yay.
Yay. Thank you, Moogles.
How is it so far?
So far, it's good.
You haven't played very much.
I haven't played much because it took all night last night to download everything. But I logged on a little bit this morning, and the first quest I did, my NPC rendered right away. So that was exciting.
But yeah, those Moogles.
Yes.
I still remember that quest where you gotta find the guy's shiny stone, I think it was, or wherever it was. And I could not work out where the hell you were supposed to go. It wasn't until my mate told me the fact you had to go behind the king and up a ramp.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was by the crystal, because the way the marker was, it was round like the crystal area. No, there's a little cliff above the crystal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's just, and you know, it's also tough too, because I don't think they communicate super well when quests require flights to complete them.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll say, Kuplo Moglin flew all the way up here and is doing this thing up on the island, and they'll kind of make it clear that you need to be able to fly to do that. But there's other ones, like I know there's this quest in Coerthas Western Islands where you have to get the cat off the cathedral.
Was it Cold Stone Roof?
Yeah. Was that the name?
I think that's the name of the quest. Cold Stone Roof. And you have to rescue some poor NPC's cat, who is a baby coral, from the top of the roof. And
at least we're led to believe that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of shouts going on saying, "Where's this damn cat?"
Yeah, I think I was one of those shouts.
The shouts have been good. And a corollary to this being in like a really cool, unique area that no one's ever been in is that it's really difficult for spammers to get to the Heavensward content.
Yeah.
So it's funny because Megan told me yesterday, like I haven't had a spam bot message me, a guild seller's message me in forever. And I was like, yeah, me either. And then I went back to Ulda for a quest, and I got one within like 5 seconds.
Well, that's because of the new system they've done where you can't. What was it? You can't send like friend requests and stuff like that if you're a trial account anymore.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's probably part of it.
Yeah. So they'd have to purchase an actual account to actually do stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and I imagine also they have to pass all the story quests and get at least a character up to level 50 to even get in the Heavensward areas.
Yeah, to even go. Right.
So, I did have one message, I think the very first day after early access, that was in Foundation, and then they immediately...
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm sure the account got banned right away.
Yeah.
I get quite a few of them now on Ultros, actually. In the last few days, have started to reappear.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
No fun. Well, so you're the Final Fantasy man. You've completed the story. You've done everything.
Yeah.
This is your podcast special, Chili. So what are we talking about first?
Well, I want to talk about the new jobs. Have you guys got? Well, I've tried Astrologian.
Astrologian, yes.
Yeah, I've tried that. I didn't mind it. Astrologian.
That's it. You got
the one that does the healer with the cards.
Yeah.
So did you try that one a little bit?
I did. I took that one up, and I went through a lower dungeon. I think I went through Hawkeye Manor with it. And I enjoyed it. It's definitely something I'm going to go back into and, really learn it. I find it's kind of like Ninja, where you sort of have to memorize what the cards do ahead of time in order to be able to use them to the fullest effect.
The same way you would memorize like Mudra combinations.
Yeah, the Mudra combinations, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, for my part of it's limited because, like, I've always loved Warrior, and I still love Warrior and what they're doing with the Warrior job actions. So I'm pretty much just playing that through the story. And I did pick up Dark Knight. I went through, I don't know, probably just 6 or 7 levels, did a few dungeons as Dark Knight, and my first impression was, I love the AoE damage enmity move. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got those dark spikes, those dark tendrils.
Those dark red spikes.
Is it called Dark Side? I don't something
remember.
Comes up from the ground, right? And it's just awesome, and it's circular, so it's almost better than Warrior's Overpower, which I've always loved for its cone-shaped enmity. But yeah, it's an interesting aesthetic. I think part of it too is that, like, I don't know how my character, this female Elzen, is going to look, in some of the later jobs. And, like, looks are really important to me. Like, if it doesn't make sense for Brielle to be a Dark Knight because of the way she looks and just the things that I think she would like to do, then I probably am not going to take it very far. But I do think Dark Knight is one of those. It's just something where I haven't put a ton of time into it yet.
I can't say much. My paladin's dressed up like Chibi Cloud. So
So how do you feel? So Monk and Paladin are your mains, right? So
yeah.
How do you feel about how's Paladins being treated by Heavensward?
So far I've just got to 56 Paladin.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's pretty much just the extension of what it was, especially with like Sheltron, which means your next attack is automatically blocked, and you restore 10% of your mana.
Do you have the Riot Blade finisher yet?
Yeah, that is called Goring Blade. That is level 54, if I'm rightly.
Oh, okay.
That's a damage over time effect. It does a pretty decent amount of damage. And I also have Divine Veil, which I love. Basically, Divine Veil is I put it on my character, and then when I'm cured, 10% of my maximum HP is then spread as a defense barrier to anyone around me.
No, that's sick. That's sick because it takes Paladins to a whole other level. I mean, they've always been about that super high personal damage mitigation. I mean, they're better at that than any other tank class.
Yeah.
To, like, actually put some of that, to be passively putting shields on the people around you, like, that's crazy. And I'm thinking about the big ultimate attacks, the raid situations. If you're all stacked up for something like, I don't know, like Leviathan's Tidal Wave or Shiva's Diamond Dust, whatever it is, right? Although I guess Diamond Dust wouldn't count, right? Because everyone's frozen.
No.
But anyway, but you would have that stack up situation, so everybody's near the Paladin, presumably.
It lasts about 20 seconds. So
yeah, he pops Divine Veil, then the heals come in, and you're just getting mad shields on everyone. Let alone the Stone Skin and the Adloquium or whatever. That's also going on to that. That's impressive.
And then we get a self cure at 58, which I'm looking forward to, with a 1,300 potency. I think it is.
Does Warriors get something like that too, right?
Yeah, Warrior gets it too.
Okay, yeah.
But the Paladin's perk with it is the fact if they target someone, it heals them, but also then heals the Paladin for half the HP. Man. So if I heal you for say 3,000,
that's a tasty self heal right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You just bite into that.
Well, you know, you just bite into that tasty self heal. You know, that makes me think of the Warriors have that a similar self heal now. I'm not sure the exact potency. I don't have it in front of me, but there's a lot of people saying that Warriors have become a little overpowered with pretty much. I think it's Fell Cleave specifically.
Yeah, Fell Cleave is ridiculous.
Yeah. So Deliverance as a new stance is really awesome because as tanks. Like, you can call it stance dancing before, but it was really just turning Defiance on and off. But now it actually does kind of feel like I'm stance dancing because the stacks of Wrath or the stacks of Abandon carry over when I make that switch. So that feels really cool, and it really has felt like it's making Warrior a little more complex to play, which I like. But now here's a negative corollary to that. Like I like Fell Cleave because it's just a badass skill and it does so much damage and it looks really cool. You have these spinning energy scythes that come out of the air and like gut into your enemy like gears. So that's awesome. But then like when I think about it, it's really just Inner Beast except in the Deliverance stance. Like it's a high damage potency skill. And then I haven't got to this level yet, but I know that the Warriors get a AoE skill in Deliverance. And when, they already had Steel Cyclone in Defiance mode. So part of me is like, I love the skills. They feel really cool. But is Square really being creative with them? Maybe not. I don't know.
I would also say, just for the listeners, my main is a white mage, and I'm a male Elezen to Kyle's female Elezen.
It's cute. It's cute. I don't know if anyone else will think it's cute, but I
think it's cute.
It is quite cute.
Yoshi P thought it was cute.
That is true.
I told him about that at E3 during my interview.
Yoshi P thought it was cute. I'm probably one of the single females out there playing as a male Elezen, but I enjoy it quite a lot. So I'm White Mage as my main, and I feel I'm only a level 56, so I will hold off on that. But so far I've only got Asylum, which is basically the equivalent of a Scholar's Succor, to be honest, and then I have Stone 3 as my new damage, and it's nice to have more damage dealing spell, but to be honest, those two spells in and of themselves are not very creative. I was hoping to see something more. Maybe I still will upon getting up to 60, but for now I'm kind of disappointed with them.
They're not really changing the way you play.
No, they're not.
And now that I think about that, it's kind of like if you look at how many jobs there are now, there's 12 jobs I think with the new ones included. So if you it's pretty much almost 6 and 6, where 6 of the jobs are just kind of like they just evolved a little bit, like it hasn't radically changed the way you play them. But then there's another half of the jobs, like Bard comes to mind, where the intention was to change the way people play them. And I feel like in general that's kind of going over kind of negatively with the community.
Yeah, Bard has been changed quite a bit. It is not that good. It's not too bad now, but even with the change in the way Wanderer's Minuet works, it's still not good.
Right.
People looked online, they still lose about 8% of your damage if you keep it on. Over if you just leave it off.
Right. Because the movement is what lets Bards keep up that DPS.
Well, not just that, you can't auto-attack while it's on.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they can't use any auto-attacks during.
Oof. Yeah, that's... Alright, well, that's just faulty design. That's just bad math. Because they should have been able to see, okay, if auto-attacks get turned off, can they make up the damage with skills? And, if they can't, then it's clearly not working. But, those things happen. And to be honest, I've been very, very impressed over the last couple years with just how balanced the jobs have been. Like back when I played World of Warcraft, you would always go on the forums and see nothing but Hunters are now the worst class in the game. Druids are now the worst class in the game. Paladins suck. Retribution Paladins. God, Blizzard, you hate us. And that was always the story for like every single job. Like everyone felt they were just getting screwed out of their potential. And I feel like, except for, a few complaints here and there, Final Fantasy has been really, really, really solid in that department.
And even when they have complaints, like with Bard right now, that people don't like it that much because of all the issues with Wanderer's Minuet, they've said that it'll be patched in 3.5 anyway, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's huge. The transparency of Square and Yoshi P talking about these things, doing the live letters, like, you don't get that from a Blizzard. It's always just, these things are planned out so far ahead of time, and the players don't really affect any of those changes, so...
I agree. That's one of the reasons why I love this game so much and why I keep going back to it, because I know that if I have a complaint, then chances are, if it's an actual reason to complain, there will be a fix or there will be something to do with it sorted out. But so far, I haven't really had many complaints, except for Monk's new abilities.
Yeah,
what are they? Yeah, can you tell us more about them?
Form Switch, which will... have you guys ever played Monk at all?
I have not,
Just in the early levels, and I didn't really...
Yeah.
I didn't feel out the fist play style much, so kind of dropped it.
Yeah, I guess technically I'm level 15, but that was only for cross-class skills.
Well, the switch ability, when you attack, you switch stances.
Yeah,
so you go through your pattern to get your final stance, so you can get Grease Lightning. Form Switch lets you switch without actually using the attacks before the battle, which is not bad for a starter. But once you've actually started the fight, there's no need to use it because you've already got your rotation.
Yeah.
And even then, Perfect Balance is better, because Perfect Balance does the same sort of thing, but also does the attack. So we've already got that, really, already, before. That was our level 50 Perfect Balance. And then we've got Chakra, which we have to stack 5 times. So you have to use the ability 5 times in a row to do the attack. Shares the same cooldown as all your other abilities. So it means that if you try and do it in battle, which screws down your rotation, which means you slow down your DPS anyway.
Right.
To do one attack that does a lot of damage, about 2.5k to 3k damage. My monk does with it. But
so you've gone through Alexander because you just published your guide to the first 4 floors on PSU.com.
Yeah.
Shout out to PSU.com. Check out Chili's guide, Alexander, all 4 floors. He's got videos. He's got the whole shebang.
Yeah, I haven't got what the drop table is at the bottom.
What's that?
I haven't got the drop table at the bottom of the guide.
Oh, look at there! Look at you, man! You got the whole. That's fleshed out. That's comprehensive.
Yeah.
That's in-game reporting. So you've gone through the floors with Monk. Do your observations of the quality of those post 50 skills? I mean, is that the same thing in a raid scenario? Because I feel like Yoshi P and Square are always telling us just wait till the raid, wait till you can take it in, and then see what you think. Yeah.
You won't ever use you'll use your level 54 move once, maybe twice, depending on how many people drop. Yeah, how many times the enemy moves, maybe. Like the second fight, you won't use it all. The first fight, you might use it a couple of times, maybe. The third fight, you probably won't use it all. Fourth fight, you might use it. Depends on if you get sucked up or not. So yeah, out of all the raids, you probably want to use it once. Your level 54 move you'll use all the time because it's bloody amazing. It's a 230 potency AoE that's every 30 seconds.
Man.
And it's a Kamehameha. I'm not joking. You jump up in the air, hold your hands out, and then fire a blue beam.
Yes. Man, it's too bad that they put the clamp down on speedrunning with the Heavensward dungeons. Cause that stuff, that would have been sick back in the Brayflox days. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. And then you've got...
Really glad we're not in the Brayflox days anymore, don't get me wrong.
Mythflox days.
Yeah, the Mythflox days.
Get halfway through Brayflox and quit.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, man. I did that for days.
I think that was the most stressful test of my white maging, the first time I ever did a Mythflox run.
Yeah, that's no joke, because you never really know, when is your eye level high enough to really keep up with people? It's kind of a guessing game.
I hated Scholar. I used to do Scholar for that. I hated it.
Ooh. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough.
Anyway, my other moves are... God damn it. I can't remember what name. It's 58. Basically, it's Meditate, that's it. It's Invigorate, but for monks. But it uses the chakra from the chakra move, so you got a choice either doing that attack or your TP back.
Okay.
And then your final attack, Tornado Kick, it removes all your Grease Lightning stacks to do a bonus attack. But being the fact that your Grease Lightning is how you do your bonus damage, because it increases your attack speed, your critical chance. Unless the enemy's flying away, you don't ever want to use that, because you'll just weaken yourself.
Right, because you're taking off your most important buff.
Yeah. So that's what Monk got.
You know, it's weird. It's almost like as I hear you spell it out, it makes me think that the design philosophy for Square might have been like, let's try to give players more choices. Like let's try to make them question in an individual situation. Okay, do I want the extra attack, the bonus attack, to like really finish this guy off, or do I want to hold on to Grease Lightning because we've got a long fight ahead of us? So I feel like that's maybe what they were going for, but maybe it's just not quite incentivized enough to change our usual ways.
Well, not really, because the amount of damage you'll do with it is about the same as much as, say, 2 normal attacks or your chakra attack.
So then they're just not, so the balance isn't quite there.
There's no point using it, because if you use it, you're going to weaken your normal attacks. So only if you know you're going to be able to kill it or it's going to die really soon, then it's fine. Or say if it's like if you're doing a stream, say Titan, and he jumps up in the sky and you're going to lose your Grease Lightning because he doesn't land down, then that's the time to use it. But it feels very situational because you're not always going to have need that. Yeah, sometimes you might need it, sometimes you can use it, but most of the time, no. No, you're not going to bother.
So you obviously had to like play all these moves and stuff as you were leveling up for the review. So tell me about the review, because like you jumped right on that. You wanted to review Heavensward going back months and months and months ago. So what was it like to like have to be at the bleeding edge of the game and like know that you had to play a crap ton of it just to write about it? What was those early hours like?
Oh, I made sure I slept a lot before I started reviewing stuff. I literally didn't sleep at all really during the review. I'm like,
what are you doing?
I'd start at like 9 a.m, finish at 5 a.m, then get up again at 8 a.m.
Oh my god!
You sick puppy!
I'm like, must
Is
be
it weird
game for review.
I wish I could have done that instead of going to work.
Must do a review for site. Don't care.
Chili. Nobody wants you to lose. Nobody wants you to have 3 hours of sleep to write a review. Not even the readers. They don't want that.
But
maybe
it's done. It worked. Then I passed out after the review.
You just collapse. They find you with drool coming from your mouth.
Well, to be fair, I didn't have to push myself as hard as I did, because I got like nearly full 170. I did get full 170 armor before I finished the review.
Now that is impressive.
That is.
That's no joke.
I don't even want to think about my eye level right now.
It's not.
It's so pathetic. I won't even mention it because it's just so pathetic.
I struggled to get my eye level up at one point because I like shiny things. So every time I got the reward for silver coins or armor, I went for the silver coins. And then when I got to the higher level dungeons, you need a certain item level for them.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't reach the item level because I picked all the shiny coins instead of the actual armor.
Okay, so you mentioned Neverreach. We haven't been to Neverreach yet, but there's a few dungeons that we have. So we've done
Dusk Vigil.
Dusk Vigil was the first.
I like that one.
The Airy, Somal, and I've done the Vault. You've not done the Vault yet.
I've not done the Vault yet.
I don't think there was one that we missed, right?
That's it, I think.
So far up to that point. So so Megan, what did you think of those ones?
Dust Vigil, and I hate to say it because I know Square Enix, I'm sure those employees work very hard on all of their things that they've been working on this last couple of years with the Heavensward. But Dust Vigil seemed very not creative. It felt kind of like I was playing something like Stone Vigil and Snowcloak combined, like basically a snowy Stone Vigil.
Yeah. And
it was just, I didn't read up anything on the dungeon. I just went right in and cleared it, no problem, no deaths, nothing. So I felt it was very unimaginative, very easy, not very challenging at all.
Yeah, it's easy to it's almost easy to forget about the things that happen in there. I remember you fight the Griffin at the end, and you have to hide behind the statues from his shriek. Yep. And they're
that should be.
Yeah, but then beyond that, it's like it would just felt very, to me, it felt very standard. Like the encounter design were your typical packs of 3 or 4, other than a couple who would like crash through snow hills and like surprise you. There wasn't like any weird pulls going on. And that's my perspective as the tank. I always judge a place on how interesting like my job is. And that felt very standard to me. So.
And I always judge it based on how much DPS can I do while healing the party. And if I can do a massive amount of DPSing while also maintaining the health of my party, then it's a very easy dungeon for me.
Yeah. What did you think of Dusk Vigil?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it in both Monk and Paladin. Probably Paladin more than Monk, because I did bigger pulls.
So then the few that came next, you have Som All, you have the Airy, and... I guess I want to talk about the Vault with you because the Vault is one of the most amazing things I've ever done in the game.
No spoilers.
Yeah, okay. We can't talk about the Vault. But I think you'd probably agree that Somal and the Airy were better than Dusk Vigil, at least, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, maybe that's not fair because there's just so much story that happens in those places. That's something that I think they've done really, really well in this dungeon in this expansion is balance the story and the dramatic cutscenes with those dungeons and really make you care in an interesting way. Like when we run through the Airy with its, it's got the exterior with the lightning bolts, it's got the lava interior, and you eventually climb your way up to fight Nidhogg and all the pillars are falling down, and it's just very, very interactive. You've got Istinian up there, you've got the dragons hatching in waves from the eggs, like right before you get to him. It's just very like, it almost tells a story just running through there.
And I would actually argue that in A Realm Reborn, it felt like the story was just a filler middle part to getting you to the next dungeon or to the next fight. Whereas in Heavensward, the story is the main part, and the dungeons and the fights are almost like the filler between the stories.
Which is weird, isn't it? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, it's kind of how it feels. Like, I'm just as excited by the cutscene I get as a reward for completing the Airy as I am by like, oh sweet, I'm coming up on Nidhogg, it's gonna be this awesome fight. I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen after my party kills him, and then it goes into the next scene. I was so mad too, Chillian. The PS4 bonked out on me in that scene that's right after you finish the Airy, and it's like a big long thing with the flashback and everything, and it cuts. I think it was some crap like my PS4 wasn't confirming my game licenses, so it was like, your game will shut down in 5 minutes because we cannot verify the license.
Oh wow.
But, to my delight, logged back in on PC, and all it did when I logged into my character was start that cutscene from the beginning, so I didn't get, like, kicked out or have to go watch it in the inn or anything lame like that.
I think my mate missed that cutscene as well because he got invited to a party just as the cutscene started.
Oh,
and he accepted it by accident. Yeah, accepted it, and they went into Duty Finder.
Oh, no.
Just as it started.
Oh, man, that's rough.
But yeah, I must admit the story is the main focus for this expansion, which I like. I like this story. It's really good.
Yeah, and we can talk about some things like... So the voice acting is a big one for me. I think we noticed right away... I mean, because obviously the moment Alphino speaks, you're like, okay, new voice actor, cool. But then every person who speaks pretty much has a new voice. I think the only one who doesn't... I think it's
maybe Sir Emmerich.
Sir Emmerich and Harjafant, probably the only two. At least of the ones we've met so far. We don't know what's coming next, but... Yeah, it's tough because, like, some of them are just, like, clearly better. Like, Alphino is better. At least he makes him a more likable character. A lot of the people around you are better. Tataru's fine. Like,
I'm just going to stake my claim for how upset I am that Urianje's voice got changed because I love that voice actor. Gideon Emery.
Friend of the show.
I loved him in Final Fantasy XII. Balthier, the one and only. He's an incredible voice actor, great in the Final Fantasy franchise, and I was so disappointed to see that his voice acting had changed.
Yeah, Did you know he was disappointed as well?
Oh, I'm sure
he was, yeah.
No, I'm not joking. They recorded some of the lines.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, they didn't know about the voice actor change until it happened.
Oh, wow.
They actually recorded all the lines that were in the game. They didn't know that.
Oh, man. Oh, God. I would love for some of that to leak to YouTube in the future and hear some of those lines. Yeah, so that's weird for me because I read a theory on Reddit that I really liked because to a certain point you have to wonder, like, freaking everybody is different. Yeah. And, like, something like Gideon Emery, that seems so unnecessary because he was really good.
Yeah, you will never upscale Gideon Emery. Like you just won't. So there's really no point in changing his voice.
But then the theory I read online says, well, maybe it was like a studio contract where they went with a different studio, and hence they kind of had to replace everybody, which is kind of actually sounds reasonable. Like that could be it.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of middle of the road on that. I think some are for the better. Some, like, none of them are bad. That's the thing.
Yeah,
even the ones that have changed that didn't need to change.
I'm
like,
gonna say
still
Urianger
fine.
is bad. Like I'm just gonna. I don't care who that voice actor is. He's just bad.
Laying down the law.
I'm just laying
Not
down
a fan.
Not a fan.
I'm just happy I didn't ruin Tataru. She's my favourite character.
She's so cute. I was so excited to see that they added her as a minion.
Yeah, she's, which I have to extend my warmest thanks to you, Chili.
No problem, man. Everyone needs a Tataru minion. So
That's fair. It's fair. It's totally fair. That's the truth right there.
She's everyone's favorite cheerleader, I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so adorable.
I think she's one of the hardest working members at Scions, to be honest.
Yeah, she was willing to go to the rocks in Mordona and the Fog Fens, risk life and limb to raise some money for the Scions.
Yeah, gather some rocks.
Yeah.
Worked harder than Minfilia, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely for sure.
For damn sure.
Now, I think the most controversial thing about Minfilia is, like, will her boobs get bigger in this expansion? I'm not joking. Did you know that she was smaller in 1.0 than 2.0?
That's true. I've seen the pictures. Yeah, she was modest, and then it just got out of hand.
Yeah.
And now you're right, Chili. You were the number one question. The thing more important than anything is how big.
Screw the story. Screw everything else. Screw the primals. Will she fall over when we see her next?
Well, I can only judge how important a female character is in any video game by the size of her breasts. So if she has small breasts, I just won't take her seriously.
But Tataru has small breasts. You wouldn't want to see a Lalafell with massive boobs. That would just be weird.
That'd be horrifying.
I would be scared.
Like seeing a child with double D's. Like, that's messed up.
I would be scared. It would then become a horror game.
I'm always disturbed when I see shouts about sexy Lalafells. It's just bizarre.
Chili's a sexy Lalafell, though.
Yeah.
He's an adorable Lalafell. I don't know if sexy is the right word for any Lalafell.
Hey, I walk around the town with my amazing glamour swimsuit and scare everyone off. That's how come I got lucky with Alexander. Everyone left. I'm not joking.
That Thavnarian glamour piece that looks like an Aladdin costume. Yeah. You walk around with that.
Oh no! I made a cross-dressing outfit for men. The summer skirt can actually be glamoured onto men.
It can. How does someone go about doing that?
Buy it. I got my mate crafted it, and I glamoured the sailor outfit with that swimsuit, with the skirt. Yeah, it's just it's unisex. It's the only skirt in the game that is.
Interesting.
Don't talk to me about skirts, man. I've spent the better part of the first half of this year trying to get the Acolyte skirt from Tamtara Deepcroft for this perfect Black Mage glamour I had in mind, and my God, 25 runs later, it still eludes me.
Well, now you can undersize it and sport it.
Now I can. Yeah. I did try that a couple times the other day. That was fun. That was interesting, by the way. And I know you were like one of the first to do that. I remember seeing on Twitter that you had like done. Was it Amdapor Keep by yourself?
Yeah, Amdapor Keep monk.
You did Amdapor Keep as a monk by yourself?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
But it's. So how long did that take you?
Most of the dungeon about 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's kind of what I expected.
But then the final boss.
Yeah.
Right.
True. Yeah, so I cleared Sastasha in like 5 minutes, which isn't even that fast because I was just like derping through it. But yeah, that sounds about right to me because like you wouldn't be able to do that in like Sastasha Hard or Sunken Temple Hard or something like that.
I did get to the end of Sastasha Hard with just 2 monks.
Wow.
But we couldn't beat the final boss.
Yeah, that would be because like I imagine it's just too hard to keep up with the tentacles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we did Corn Hard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to the final boss and that again, and he just hit too hard.
Yeah, I do like it as a feature though.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it kind of shows that they're relaxing a little bit with some of the systems they had in A Realm Reborn. Now that there is an expansion, it's like, yeah, like things were really rigid and structured before, but now just kind of do what you want. Like you've been asking for this ability forever, so fine. All of our attention is on Heavensward right now, so A Realm Reborn can kind of loosen up a little bit.
And it is fun. My next challenge is trying to beat Wanderer's Palace. So that's.
Ooh, yeah.
I got to Tombury King the first time, but with the amount of ads, I just couldn't do it. Yeah, it just kept killing me.
Couldn't keep up with it. Yeah.
No.
Well, you never know. You might go back with some 180, 190 pieces. That might be possible.
Well, I'm now nearly full 180.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I'm missing the boots. No, gloves. Yeah, I'm missing gloves. That's it.
So you would know this because you've got the loot table in your guide. But are the weapons from Alexander?
No weapons.
They're a higher eye level than like Ravana Extreme.
There is no weapons.
Wait, what? I thought there was.
No weapons in Alexander.
So why do they show weapons in the?
No idea, but there is no weapon drops at all in Alexander. I can confirm this.
Well, okay, so where they might come in then? They might be just in Savage mode, which
will suck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does kind of make sense though, because a lot of people I've read about are saying that on the whole, Alexander feels slightly easier than like the Extreme Primal. So if you could go through Alexander,
I'd use Duty Finder for all those floors.
So excuse my ignorance on the subject, as I am not a hardcore raider when it comes to this game. But the Savage mode with Alexander, is that going to be as difficult as Savage mode with the Coil was, or is that just going to be
It's supposed to be harder.
Harder than that, even. Okay.
Yeah. Which is why I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean that was my understanding too. If they're gonna go just crazy all out with it, but like, it's kind of funny because I asked Yoshi P at E3 what their goal was for normal mode, like where they wanted it to be in the scheme of difficulty, and he told me they wanted it to be between an Extreme Primal and Coil, like Extreme Primal being on the low end and Coil being on the top end. And it doesn't seem like they've hit that on the nail. But on the other side of the fact is, all the people who are playing Alexander right now are like the hardcore players who are ready day one, jumping in with our statics, like we're doing this. And I don't think that's really the target audience of normal mode. Like, I feel like the target audience of normal mode is you and I, right?
Yeah.
So we've beaten the Extreme Primals, Meagan and myself, in the past game.
I have not beaten all the Extreme Primals, but I'm going to blame that on my PS3, because Titan Hard mode on a PS3 with Extreme with a PS3 lag is just impossible.
Imagine what it was like playing on North American server with PS3. That's what I had to do with Titan Hard.
Yeah. So I'm going to be taking a crack at those with my new PS4, but...
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting to go back and do the other extremes. Titan Extreme, Shiva...
Sure, it would be kind of difficult to put a party together.
You never tried Leviathan?
Well, no, you can cheat with it now, can't you, anyway, because you can just undersize it.
Yeah, you could. We just have to find people to go back and do it with for glamours or whatever reason.
Well, if I was in the same server, I would do it.
Chili, I know you would. You don't have to tell me that. I know this.
Mainly so I can steal the pony, because I still have no ponies.
You still have no what?
No ponies.
Oh, that's too bad.
There you go.
Neither do I, of course.
Entice people with ponies.
Yeah,
I think the Extreme Primal that I beat the most times is Shiva.
Oh yeah, Shiva's easy.
Oh yeah, you were trying to get that bow for a while.
Yeah, I was trying to get that bow for a while. I ended up with like the white mage staff, and I don't even have that class.
Jealous.
I've got the ninja. I've got the ninja weapons, and I don't even have that class.
Yeah. So, no, that would be interesting to go back and try that. So all right. So Megan and I both played Ravana in the story mode.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to see what that looks like and feels like on Extreme, and obviously, Chili, I assume played that fight, beat that fight.
No, I haven't got to that fight yet.
No, not quite. Okay.
No, I'm still trying to find people for Bismarck Extreme. It's not that easy.
Right. But Ravana on hard mode, just in the story path, was actually decently difficult for me when I did it my first time. And I think that's, in classic fashion, like, Garuda story mode is harder than Garuda hard mode because of the way the item levels are treated. And I think it's the same for Ravana, where it took my party 4 or 5 tries to down him. And
Uh-huh.
and he just hits like a freaking truck.
He does hit like a truck, and maybe me being a white mage as my main, maybe it's easier for me to go in.
Jeez. Oh,
Well, I'm just saying, with me going in there as a healer, I feel like my party beat it one shot, and perhaps there were others that. But I think the majority of my party, that was their first time going in there. At least that's what they said to me. So
you can catch on to it pretty quickly. I do like the mechanics, and I like the mechanics of like basically every fight in Heavensward. I love the way the walls crumble independently of each other. It's not just like a phase change where, Titan comes down, all the rocks disappear. Yeah. It's more like...
You have to pay attention more to see where the rocks do fall.
Yeah, and it's strategic it's like, as a tank, it's beneficial to bring Ravana closer to the edge and just keep him away from people. But when you do that, you make the conscious choice of like, okay, well, he's coming to the edge, so he's going to make some frontal cone swipes and start to break up these walls, which is a problem. And there's fights later in the story that have similar interesting things going on. So yeah, I've just been really, really, really impressed by the encounter design. And they're just trying interesting things. I feel like part of it is like they've had more time with the engine, so they can like, as designers, a little bit more about what you can do within that system, like what's technically possible for like interesting things. So, yeah, it's been great to see.
Yeah, I got to the last phase of Bismarck Extreme yesterday. I tried it yesterday for the first time, because I hadn't even tried it. I was too busy with the story and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is literally just, I want you out, all it is a DPS check, the whole fight. That is it.
Yeah, I hit that problem my first time in Bismarck. Like, the party was just not doing enough damage, so we had to quit. We had to leave.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you have to burn him before... If you've got 2 attempts on the first time to burn him, like you have the not story mode. Pretty much follows the entire story mode until the last bit where it'll just keep respawning ads.
Yeah.
There's also a new weather system as well, where if it's rainy, destroy the water bubbles as soon as possible. If it's windy, same thing, destroy the water bubbles as fast as possible, because when they explode, they do a massive AoE. But when it's thunder, get away from the water bubbles. Don't destroy them.
Right.
Because the thunder will strike random players, but after a while it will start striking the water bubbles instead of the actual players, so it means less healing for the healer.
To flip gears a little bit, Chili, have you been doing any crafting in Heavensward yet? Or have you kind of just been in the combat side of things?
I've just been combat. I haven't really had much time to craft yet.
There's too much to do, man. There's too many options.
I wish... That's why we need to do another one in the future. Yeah, once we've done more of this, and it's just huge.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and that's to say nothing of like how big the zones themselves are. Like I'm still like obviously they feel just absolutely humongous when you first enter a place and you're on foot and you're going through the story mode and it's just so big you can't even explore all of it. But even once you unlock flying in an area and you really start to explore it, like I always think back to the Churning Mist, because if you fly. Or even Sea of Clouds to some extent. If you fly to the very top of those areas and just like look down, like the verticality is unbelievable, and other players can be so far away from you, and it just dwarfs anything that was in the vanilla game.
I actually miss flying when I'm in the other areas in the game.
No, oh my goodness, me too, man.
I just want to fly away with my fat chocobo and tell everyone goodbye.
And now that I've spent so much time flying in the new areas, like even having to land or use my grounded mounts in a new zone is just excruciating. It's like, oh my goodness.
And to be honest, I feel like the designers almost designed the landscape to be excruciating, and the chocobo forests come to mind particularly because when you're doing those quests where you have to go to each one of those hunting campsites, there's only one way on that little cliff that they're on each side that you can get up into with a ground mount,
and
it's
like
just
5 minutes to run
around to that side of the cliff, and it's just you can tell they're like, oh, we're just gonna tease you until you can fly.
Yeah, I made sure I saved some fly. So I looked online and just looked around in areas and looked for any quest that was flying based. Ignored every other side quest until I did all the ones so I could fly. And then I could do all the side quests then.
Yeah,
I think that's the smart way to do it.
Yeah, totally. You have to do it that way for sure. Unless you're having trouble hitting like the levels for the story quest, and like Megan's been having more trouble with that than I have. I've been locked a couple times, but usually I'm like within just a little fraction of where I need to be, so I'll just grind out a little bit more.
Yeah,
last one, you were like a whole level almost.
Yeah. Right now, I think I'm locked right now because I'm 56 and a half. Well, I'm halfway through up to 57, and I was at almost just barely into 56 when the 57 lock happened. So that's why I have not gone to the vault yet, because I'm still trying to get leveled up.
Yeah,
and that takes forever.
It does. And honestly, this is actually my first MMO, so I've never experienced an expansion where the level cap has increased. And while I enjoy having new abilities, I absolutely hate leveling up. So I'm kind of not looking forward to it with all the classes I have at 50 currently.
Yeah, I've got Scholar, Paladin, Monk, Bard, Black Mage.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, I think my 50s are Warrior, Bard, Black Mage, Summoner.
You have Scholar.
Technically, I have Scholar, but that felt like cheating, because it was basically already unlocked because I did Summoner.
Yeah, I did Scholar, but didn't go with Summoner.
So it's one of those things where I feel like it's such a massive time commitment now. Like, and it's gonna get worse and worse every time a new expansion comes out. It's gonna be even more dramatic. So part of me says, to some extent, that's okay, because what that does over time is it really makes you narrow down your selections to the things you really, really love to do. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's restrictive. Like, and then you can't just experiment the way you want, because it takes a massive amount of time. Of course, the flip side is we don't know what they could do in the future. They might add, like, they have those gathering and crafting books that double your XP for a stretch. They might do something similar for combat down the line to help people catch up.
Well, they're changing fate in 3.05, so...
Oh, in what way?
They're increasing how much XP they give, and they're decreasing the enemy's HP.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Yeah. Especially since the fates are, man, they were so busy at first, but they have died so quickly.
And I think part of the reason for that, at least in my experience, is because the areas are so massive. If you're in one area way up north and the Churning Mists, and there's a fate that just popped up, how likely is it going to be that someone else is in that area too and just happens to want to do that fate with you?
Well, the best place to fate grind still is Northern Thanalan. No matter what level you are.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with that too.
Because you can get about 600,000 XP in a couple of hours tops.
And I did that too to get my Paladin up to level 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't do temple leaves. The new big leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Don't use them. Because the amount of points they cost is less than you'll get just by doing the 10 separate ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figured that out very quickly. And of course, it's tough to justify doing the leaves too, because they were great at first. It was great at level 51 when I had nothing. I had no gear. I had no, I was just starting to level up for the first time. But now I've been going back to the Leave Master and just checking on the rewards and how much they give, and it's just not. It doesn't really appeal to me. Part of the reason, maybe because I haven't had too much trouble with getting level capped, but even though, like, the one thing I was impressed with at level 51 were the rewards, because you were getting high quality boots, high quality gloves, but then you can get that stuff really easily from the story once you just go through it. So I feel like the leaves might be best for your alt jobs, like once you run out of quests to do.
I absolutely despise leaves. They're just so unimaginative, and it just feels like such a grind that I would rather just do dungeons than to do leaves to gain XP. For sure.
I've got kind of this weird thing about that, because like I totally I love doing dungeons, and when I'm leveling a class like from 1 to 50, that's how I'll do it, right? I'll just queue up for dungeon after dungeon because I just love being in a group in those settings. But for some weird reason in Heavensward, I don't want to do that until I've gone through the whole story. Because I almost feel weird about like going back and playing a place a second time.
Yeah.
Even though I should be doing that to get like new weapons and glamour and stuff, because there's so much loot I don't have.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just
there's been like kind of this invisible bar with me too, where it's like I just kind of wanted to experience it once and keep moving on with the story, because it feels if I'm going back, then it almost takes me out of where I am currently in the story.
Yeah.
I want to say I kind of did the same thing. I think I did the dungeons a couple of times. That's only because my free company was leveling up as one. They needed help with the story.
Oh, right. Sure.
But apart from that, I didn't go back. I literally did each one like 2, maybe 3 times tops.
Yeah.
All because I didn't want to touch it. I wanted to carry on. I wanted to just find the next part of the story. But my free company's about 4 people, so I couldn't really leave them behind.
For sure.
But yeah, for leaves, I always recommend save them for crafters. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good alt job tactic.
Do you have all your crafting classes up to at least 50, Chili?
I wish. No. I really should someday, but...
Insane, Megan.
A lot of people do, so I was just asking.
He is a sane man who gets 3 hours of sleep every night.
I am completely sane recording this at midnight. But
so what crafting do you delve into?
A culinary and goldsmith, mostly. Okay. But I need to get the other classes up for the abilities, really.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of following that one Reddit guide for a while as far as crafting goes, so I've delved in at least all of them periodically. My main is a weaver. I really enjoy that class a lot, but I did get my culinarian up to, I think it's 37, so you can get that one ability.
Yeah.
And then I got my carpenter up to 50, so I could get, I think it's by God or Beer God's blessing, however you say that.
Yeah, I need to get that.
Yeah. It helps a lot. It's an incredible skill. So.
Yeah, I'm mainly culinary mainly because I like to make everyone food.
Oh yeah.
And my house is filled with food.
Man, so. I remember back when the trial of the game first came out. You were totally in there making food for people. Back when it was just like finger sandwiches and stuff.
Oh, fun.
Night spread.
I'm sat there making. Everyone's like, "Why don't you go do dungeons?" I'm like, "No, it's okay, food, cooking." You should level up. I don't care. Cooking.
I'm cooking right now. Don't bother me.
We're like 20 levels ahead of you, I don't say, but you're there because of the food.
Worth in front of his kettle.
I must make more finger sandwiches.
Mushrooms?
Mushrooms risotto.
I've made a little kitchen in my house, actually. It's nice.
Oh, cute.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where is your house located?
The Goblet.
Oh, that's a good space.
I'll tell you what, Chili. Megan and I, we've been
scamming.
Yeah, so scamming. Wait a minute, we've been scamming. We've been earning.
We've been scraping every single coin that we can manage together.
Because our thing is we never delved into serious skill making practices. We're just playing the game, right? And even with A Realm Reborn, when we were logging on every day to do our roulettes and do everything else, you still don't make money in the realm of buying property people did. So by the time we got there, it was all bought up, and now we're just pooling our money in one retainer, and it's still nothing special. It's still only 8 million gil.
Yeah,
but
there's no money.
Spots. Yeah, that's not bad. That's property right there. That's property and taxes. So we're stoked. Yeah. We're ready for that.
Yeah, the property and tax is only about if you want small, it's about 3 million.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. There's no open spots on Excalibur. There's not even
and someone will post in Party Finder oh, I want to buy my small plot. Well, it's well, you have to pay for the plot's original, and then you have to give them a bonus on top of that. So we cannot afford with our meager incomes.
Meager 8 mil. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think they're going to move it to Ishgard eventually, maybe 3.2.
I was really disappointed to see that they didn't actually include housing with the expansion, because that was one thing I wasn't kind of expecting.
Oh, do you guys want a secret tip? I can't remember if this has been patched yet. Do you want a secret tip on how to make a little bit more money? Not much, but a little bit. Move your retainer. Move your retainer to Ishgard.
Move it to Ishgard.
Because if you sell stuff on the Ishgard market board, which is sold everywhere, not just Ishgard, if you sell your stuff in the market board on Ishgard, there is no tax.
Interesting.
So you'll not get the 10% tax every time you sell something.
What?
Is there a reason for this? Do the Ishgardians just not believe in taxes?
Well, I guess the law is the fact that they weren't part of the alliance originally, so...
That's true. So it's an alliance tax.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want, I don't know if it's been changed. This was when it launched. I don't know if
Ladies
there's been
and gentlemen,
a patch.
that is a pro tip for you right there.
That's no joke. That's serious. Hey, Chili, what do you think of Ishgard, the city, the layout and kind of how it's organized?
I like the layout. It is very nice. It's very spacious. There's a lot of turbo crystals.
Yeah. There's a lot of crystals.
I hated trying to find that stupid manor. Every time I got that quest.
Manor.
Where is it?
Yes.
Go to the manor. Okay? Where's the quest marker? Oh, it's in the manor. But where's the manor?
I had that same problem with the side quest, and Kyle actually helped me out with it the other day.
The Scholasticate, the
yeah,
library.
The library, the Scholasticate that you have to go into, and you have to find those volumes of books for that guy that's in the Jewel Crozier.
Mm-hmm.
And that was difficult for me, but
yeah, I do like the city. I think like compared to something like Ulda, which is just a fucking mess. Like it's all over the place, and you can't find your way. That's me. I did that wasn't my starting city, so even
I'm the same with Gridania. Like Ulda, I'm fine with Gridania. I'm like, where is everything? And Limsa's worst.
Oh, come on, man. Limsa is where it's at.
Nah.
Limsa's so easy. It's just straight pathways.
Limsa clearly was designed by drunken pirates. I mean, let's be honest.
Maybe. Yeah, it was. It totally was. But yeah, Ishgar's great. Ishgar. And man, I love the opening moments of the game where you really, like... I love that they don't, like, wait at all to just dump you into, like, one of the most interesting places with such an amazing sense of scope, scale, and architecture, like the old weathered cathedrals. In most Final Fantasy games, there's build-up to, like, that moment of, like, holy crap, the world is so big. But I just love that it's an expansion, so you can just throw us right into the mix, and it's just exciting from the moment it starts. And there has never really been a dull moment in the story since the very beginning. The only dull moment, the only, like, okay, what the heck, may have probably just been, like, going to the Sea of Clouds with the younger brother of Count Edmund.
The one who's, like, in love with that one girl.
Yeah, the one who's in love
she's
with,
just, like, not having
Janet
it.
Or whatever.
Yeah, she's not having it.
And you go there for, like, you're there for, like, half an hour. Like, that's all it takes to beat those quests, then you're back in the city.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
And I still, I haven't gone back to the Sea of Clouds, really, yet, because I have no quest reason to.
Maybe you will. Maybe you will before long.
Maybe you will.
I detect spoilers.
No.
You might. Well, it's an area. And remember, you haven't been to the whole area yet, because there's that bit you can't get to.
That's
true.
Freezing, yeah. It isn't for lack of trying, though. I did take my chocobo.
Damn it, where is the ramp?
I'm trying to get to the northern part.
Why won't you fly?
Those blank spaces in my map just irritate me.
Yeah, so you'll get there eventually.
Yes.
But yeah, I tried to level up a bit of crafting, but I haven't really been focusing much on my actual main jobs.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I asked you about crafting.
Yeah.
That's how
I'm really interested to see, because I know Yoshi P and the team have really talked about how they don't like that you have to be level 50 or at least capped in every single crafting class in order to really excel at crafting. And I'm really hoping that I can just, be a weaver, be a carpenter, and really excel in those.
Still be competitive.
And still be competitive, still at least be able to make the top recipes, because I actually haven't been able to do that yet.
I haven't read a lot about the script system. That's like the new big thing with Heavensward, because I don't craft myself, so why would I study it? But my understanding is that you'll kind of be able to do that because by just like the special orders you can fulfill in the main cities, like turn in something of this, get some XP back.
Yeah.
That's that same thing in Heavensward, except doing so gives you scripts, like tickets basically, and you exchange those tickets eventually once you've accumulated enough for like your master weaving table. Your level 180 weaving clothing. So I think you can get there. I think you can accumulate scripts with slightly more casual crafting.
Yeah, you can pretty much. You have to specialize to start getting proper scripts.
Yeah.
And if you specialize, you can't really use the other abilities, I don't think.
So yeah, hopefully they do get in that realm, because honestly, that would make me a little more interested in it. It was always intimidating thinking about that long jumping around process of going to all those other things and doing the whole shebang. So
yeah, and I think just from like a role playing perspective, like I have reasons why I'm only a weaver and a carpenter. I mean, I don't really want to do alchemy or those other blacksmithing. I just don't really feel like it.
It's not right for your character. That's important too.
Yeah, I feel like my little Lalafell would like to cook. So
yeah, exactly. Chili's little Lalafell went to culinary school.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do alchemy. He doesn't know what a needle is. He just hurts himself with it.
My male Elzen Luca, his mother was a weaver before him, And his father was a carpenter before him in the little town of Hurstmill. Perhaps our listeners have heard of that little town, little hamlet. Meanwhile, Kyle memes throwing up.
Hey, I always give my backstory of the fact that my mum was a Mukote.
Oh,
That's why every time you pet my Lalafell, he purrs. So yeah, although he also suppose he has a laugh that sounds like something from Disney. So we'll see. Yeah, so I said that's Disney evil. But yeah, if you're gonna level up, I'm guessing you're gonna level up Gathering then. Yeah, to help with your Weaver.
Yeah.
At level 51, you'll be able to start getting collectibles as a Gatherer.
Oh.
Check. I don't know what's up. So
that's a similar system too, right? Where you get the collectibles, and it's a little
Yeah.
easier to get them than it was in A Realm Reborn, and you can start accumulating that. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're on the right track. I just have to experience it for myself, and I got a long road of other stuff to do before I even get there. So it's
all
weird.
I'm gonna say is it's really good XP. I've got to level 51 minor. If you can collect something called yellow copper ore every 12 hours in the game.
Yeah.
Give you 100,000 XP for each one you mine up.
And is it fairly easy to gather in the sense that somebody, let's say you get your level 50, like I have a botanist, my level 50 botanist, who has just very I pretty much got to level 50, got that early green stuff like I-60 or whatever it was, I-55.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get, but you've got to make sure you use because there's a new system in it. What you click the collectible glove, and then you go to the mining, and then it says this is a collectible. You click on it like you would mine it normally, or gather it, and instead it'll come up with a new window, and it'll have a wear amount, and then you've got certain abilities that will increase the quality of the thing you're collecting, but also increase how much it worn down. Once that reaches its cap or goes over it, once it's reached cap, that's when you should get it really. Or just before it, but if it goes over it, you've then failed that mining spot and you've only got a 10% chance to collect it. The higher the collectability, the higher amount of XP and points you get. You can start doing this at 51, and I don't know how much gear affects it, because I haven't really looked into it that much.
Right, yeah, well, I hope it's got a decent entry curve, because I'm not really interested in doing any of the chasing of like the level 60, 70 stuff from A Realm Reborn. I just kind of want to jump into Heavensward stuff, start gathering again, and then hopefully to have the system take me to higher heights.
Oh, I hope so too. I want to do more mining once I finish my Paladin, to be honest.
Well, I think the market for those kind of crafted weapons and armor might get a little bit better once people stop selling all their story gear. That's what I've been doing. Like I get my warrior stuff, and then I grab like bard things or conjurer things, and I just sell them because some of them get decent, 20,000, 30,000 gil here or there. But I feel like for crafters, that's not good because a lot of the stuff they're crafting between level 51 and 60 can be just gotten so easily and pretty cheaply on the market board. So I'm kind of waiting for that, that market to settle into its rhythm and kind of be a little nicer to crafters.
And then there's me, in the other corner, with his 326 Aragon silver coins.
What are you doing with all those?
I don't know, I'm just collecting them.
You gotta feel the same way about coke, about arachne web, all that stuff. The good old
yeah. We have like 4 stacks of wheatstone. Aquarius wheatstone. Someone was selling it for about $5,000 for a stack on my server at one point. So we kind of bought all of them. Yeah, we got a free company full of like stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Just because everyone was getting rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. How do you do it?
So what else should we bring up? Is there been much else really?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot we can talk about beyond that from our position. As I said, like I'm still like I think that the big takeaways or the big highlights of Heavensward for me, like if someone was going to ask me for the elevator pitch, it would pretty much be so far it's an amazing story. It's on par with, I mean, I don't want to get too specific about it, but it's probably on par with like the top 6 or 7 RPGs I've ever played. I mean, it's up there. Like, it's really, really good, and I feel like it's really earning the character relationships. Like, you've just been with them for so long that there are probably games out there that are better written, have better animation, have more dramatic cinematic cutscenes. But the truth of it is, you spend so much time with these characters, I'm so attached to them. I mean, I've been playing this game since like 2013. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I've got such a connection with the characters. I don't like losing them. They're so nice.
I know, that's a huge part of it, I think. And I've, grown so attached to my own character, so seeing her in those situations, even if it is only just facial animations and there's no actual words, it's still really interesting to see how she reacts to different events happening and the course of the story. So I think the story is really, really well told. As far as Final Fantasy games go, it's right up there for me. It's one of the best I've played and experienced. And on the MMO side of things, the gameplay side of things, I think it's never been better. Like, it looks fantastic. Visually, the new areas are just spectacular. I can't wait for you, Megan, to play more of those spots on the PS4. Like, you just got this yesterday, right? So seeing these things like Sea of Clouds and Churning Mists with the sun rays being cast over, you've got the whole draw distance, you're seeing players miles away. Like, the game looks spectacular. And then on the gameplay side, it's like the dungeons, the raids, the boss encounters have never been more interesting. Like, they are just trying new things all the time, and I've never seen those mechanics.
I even think the side quests even have really been creatively developed. There's just a lot more interesting things. One of my favorite quests, and it's one of the really early ones, was where you chase those heretics across Corythus Western Highlands, and you go into that house. You find them in the bottom, and you're literally just chasing them to this house.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really creative. It was less of a fetch quest and more of like a chase, and just that simple, nuance was really just interesting to me and made me care more about what was going on with that story.
And there's another good story that I think of is the story of, is it Moglio who tries to join the Palm Squad?
Oh, the Palm Squad.
So you help him out all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Earning his spot in the Palm Squad, which is like 7 or 8 quests on its own. Then later you get to come back and he's like in the Palm Squad, and you help them with another 7 or 8 missions, and it just gets ramped up more and more and more. So I think it's extremely impressive that I'm actually, like, in what other game am I going to remember that character's name was Moglio in a series of like 8 quests? Granted, he's a Moogle, so I pay a little more attention to him, but still, when I'm running through Ishgard and I see a character named I'm going to say it wrong now, but Etoirel, the oldest son of Count Fortan, I see him with that name there, and I recognize him despite his super minor role, because they're just doing a better job of like
fleshing out the
hey,
characters.
This is who this person is, right? Yeah.
They're adding a lot of depth too, which I always find that always pulls me into stories too, is if you really add a rich depth to each character, then I care more about them. I think about how they're going to react to these different situations, and that just draws me in even more.
Yeah, it's really well fleshed out. I think for me, the only unanswered question, so to kind of balance the positivity with a little bit of negativity, because it is not a perfect expansion, I think flight, it's a difficult balance, because I understand why flying is so time consuming to unlock. Like, you have to, if you're going to tell a meaningful story, you can't have players just flying wherever they want, because you can't do things like run up the mountain path to meet Alphino at the top. You can't do things like that when you've got a flying mount.
Yeah.
So from a story perspective, it makes sense to me. I do wish that they didn't have wind currents scattered in random side quests, because I feel like it's very poorly telegraphed, like, how to get those. Like, I would much rather prefer they're all environmental, and then there's that one at the end of the zone that you have to complete the quest for.
The dungeon one, yeah. Yeah, I just remember trying to get them for the Dravanian Forelands, and that space in particular, I literally was just, like, exhausted by the time I got all those air currents, because it just took forever.
Didn't you and we spent, like, 4 or 5 hours that one night just trying to find the quest for the 2 that we were missing.
Yeah, and I don't, this probably isn't good for PSU, but I don't like going online looking at guides. So, I want to find it for myself.
My guides. To be honest, I didn't do a guide today for currents. I should have, but I don't know.
So yeah, I think that's one point of negativity for me. I can't really judge my job warrior until I've played it in endgame dungeons and I've really nailed down the new rotation. But as a player, I love the new abilities. Like Fell Cleave is super powerful. The new stance is cool with its increased critical hit buffs. Is it the game critic in me, the writer, the journalist is asking, is it creative of them that the ability is similar to this previous one? At the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Warrior is still a blast to play, and they haven't changed it too much, so I'm really digging that.
I'm still enjoying White Mage immensely. It hasn't changed much. And to be honest, the two new abilities we've had really just enhanced the role more so than anything.
I do like your bubble heal though. Even though
that bubble heal is amazing.
Get in my bubble.
It's got its use. It's totally got its use.
And I do enjoy it. It's kind of just an extra region, so I can do more deeps while I throw that on the party.
It's like a bigger sustained AoE region.
Yeah,
I also like
to useful.
I like to take the piss out of that new White Mage spell as well.
Yeah.
Which is that? Oh, which is that one? The bubble.
I don't know how you actually say it. Just taking piss out of it so much that I can't work out how you say it normally. But I always call it arse size.
Oh, ass size, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten that one yet.
Ass size, yeah.
Yeah.
What does that ability do?
It does damage and heals the pie.
Oh, okay. I'll be looking forward to
just
that.
the ultimate. The ultimate wrap up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's the flying thing is a sticking point with me, and then I think just in general, the environment design is really good aesthetically. Like things just look really interesting, incredible. Like I love the Moogle world with its palms. I love the Dravanian Forelands with its architecture and that one spire, the dragon statue, not as a shrine, but like the smaller one north of it. The waterfalls that you pointed out to me, those kind of things. But as far as the layout, it's like we talked about before. I think they went a little overboard with the frustrating navigation.
Yeah.
You want flying to feel like it's cool and meaningful that you got it, and it totally does. But I think there's a way to do that without frustrating the player quite so much with that design. And I do think they went a little too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, in places they did push it a bit.
Yeah. Beyond that, though, it's nothing but good things. Like I can't wait to play the rest of the story, see how things unfold, see the encounters just get more and more interesting, and then get into endgame. And from this, that reminds me of another thing I really liked is that the hunts. I don't like that the hunt is a required thing. That's a little unfortunate, but I do think that the hunt, it's a lot easier now or a lot faster now to get the things you want. So somebody could feasibly be doing like their daily B ranks and their daily just little side missions, and it's going to take them longer, but it's a lot faster than it was in Realm Reborn to get the upgrade.
Well, I want to say that
those logs, yeah.
I want to say that nearly most of my gear is just from the dailies.
Yeah, so that's sick. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think I've done about 6 or 7 A ranks tops.
Yeah, and if people want to do that, because I know I've actually had fun on Excalibur joining the big TeamSpeak party that's really orchestrated, and it sends people to different zones to hunt, and it actually kind of feels like you're in a medieval hunting party, like going out and blowing your horns and heading off in different directions. I do like that, but I'm glad it's not.
I would say it's almost an experience to join the hunt, the hunts at least once, just to see how orchestrated it is. I mean, the top people who do, lead that, it's very impressive.
Yeah,
well, don't come to Ultros then. Complete opposite on our server.
That's too bad, because on Excalibur we got these big names like Drath and Gary and Vale and just all these people who just kind of took it upon themselves to just create something really.
We have a phrase called, "Oh no, it's been gaffed." Basically, NeoGAF is on our server, Ultros.
Oh, right, yeah.
And a lot of the times you'll see that people say, we'll pull it, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll see the GAF group turn up and just pull it straight away and then run off.
Oh, it's too bad.
Yeah, so they're not as bad nowadays. I'll give them credit. It's not them nowadays. But it's just because they used to do it when the hunts first started, it just became it's been pulled. Oh, it's been gaffed.
Yeah, it's been gaffed. Nice.
I think people fear the leaders of the hunt too much on our server to pull that kind of shenanigans.
There's legit retribution. If you fuck around,
you're banned from the hunt link show.
You're not in it anymore.
Yeah.
So the monopolies, maybe not the best thing in the world, but at the same time, if you're in it and you behave like a real human being should, you're gonna have a great time and get your rewards.
I remember one time in the game, and I don't remember which one it was, but one of the hunt leaders like just private messaged me, "Hey Luca, how's it going?" And I just felt so like, oh my god, you remember me.
A
like
hunt
I
leader
just
talked to me.
a hunt leader talked to me. I felt so special.
Oh well. Well, I think we should wrap it up soon. But I would love to do another one once we're further up. Well, once you guys are further on with the story.
Yeah,
I was gonna
feel
say,
like a story wrap up
Totally,
would be
totally.
great.
And then we can hit on every element, every plot beat.
Yeah.
I know we're both going to play the crap out of it this weekend, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get
I'm actually planning on staying up till at least 2 tonight, just playing.
Whoa!
I know.
Wow, we've got badass over here.
Chili's just waking up at 2, and going to bed at 1 the next morning.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1 o'clock right now, so.
Oh, what? Look at me! Look at me! Well, yeah. Hey, man, thanks for staying up so late to join us. It's tough.
Still better than recording with Glenn at 2 a.m. till 4 a.m. sometimes.
Poor Chili.
That PSU is just cracking the whip.
Well, whenever we can.
Whenever I actually do the work. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, thank you for having us on. I'm looking forward to having more chats with you. And obviously, everyone should follow both me and Chili on Twitter because we talk about. I know I talk about Final Fantasy all the time, and Chili does too.
Yeah.
Chili also, out of the sheer kindness of his heart, gives codes away for Tataru minions. So, but you should also check out his Alexander guide, which just got posted on the site and is a good.
Thank you.
I checked it out for myself. It's very well written, by the way, and it is a good. It's a minimalist overview of the mechanics that doesn't spoil a single thing, and that's really cool because you don't see enough of that. And I think that's
really I wanted to make sure even the videos themselves, I didn't want to spoil anything.
Right.
You just wanted to know what was going to go on, so you don't go, why is there a thing on me? Why is it even exploding? Why am I small now?
Then everyone probably going, oh, who brought the noob? Come on, Leroy.
Scrub.
Well, I must admit, being a Lalafell, I like going into the purple goop to become smaller, because then I am in my final form.
Yeah, you must have had a blast in Cerberus and World of Darkness.
Yeah.
I would shout out, okay, Lalafells, time for our final form. No, I still think that, I know this will probably be cheating. I really think you should not have to be shrunk down to be eaten by Cerberus if you're a Lalafell. Why? You're already small enough anyway.
Dude, yeah, the designers would say, balance, design, and all that kind of stuff, but it would have been such a funny joke that they just should have gone with it.
Well, there was a glitch with Twintania originally, where there was a dip in the middle of the arena.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
If you were a Lalafell, you could stand in it and the dive bombs would miss you.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah, because they were too short, so...
Where's the dip in the middle? Because I'm thinking of the
I can't
dip
remember.
on the
Yeah, it's kind of on the back.
Oh, yeah, it's in the back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, when you were Lalafell, you could just stand there while the rest of the party ran out and back in?
Yeah.
That's
Oh my God.
That's awesome. That's so sweet. Well, hey, look forward to your Twintania mount coming to the game soon.
Yeah, but I've got to find people to play it. I've got to pay people to play it so I can get it. I did get our boss to get onto he's got a copy of the game, Stephen, but he never played it.
That's too bad. That's too bad.
I know, because he got me as a refer friend, so I'd have at least 5 gold feathers if he at least played it once.
Yeah, seriously.
You could also get that double chocobo mount.
I know.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, but I could get married and get a double chocolate mount as well.
Oh, there you go.
But
Are there any special Lalafells in your life?
No special Lalafells. He's a lone monk.
Aw.
That's okay. Brielle still refuses to marry Luca, so.
Although I must admit, because as Carl knows, I'm very good at breaking games. You know Carl, don't you? I'm very good at glitching out of things. I glitched out underneath the church running around.
Oh my god.
In Ishgard? Or no, in the wedding church.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when I glitched out of Gridania up on the hills, and you could get outside of the city, and then it just ran out of textures eventually. I felt kind of guilty as I was doing it. I was like, oh, I don't like this. I feel like I know it's just a game, but it's like a service, with other people part of it. And I just didn't really like the feeling.
I'm weird like that. I kind of just went everywhere. The one I don't have to fix it, but what you have to do was, where Moogle King is.
Yeah.
There's like the log way. If you jump into that log, you can jump into the side bit, and you can jump up off the map. And then if you follow the mountain across, you got to jump on a certain log. You can then literally get on the map and explore all around that shroud.
Oh wow! Nice.
If you go the long way round, you got to go past the church, through the river, jump off a couple of gaps, climb a cliffside. You can actually get to a castrum that's not in the game yet.
Man, I wonder, does that still work, you think?
I don't know, I haven't tried it. I heard they've patched a few of them, so I don't know if it's fixed. Yeah. Like, there was one in Corvus as well, where you could get off the map and walk underneath Corvus.
Yeah, I think I've seen that a couple times. That's pretty cool, too.
But, so yeah, I think we'll wrap up now, though. Now that we've told everyone our secrets on how to get on the map.
Now that we're off into breaking the game territory.
Yeah, now we're talking breaking the game. Which you shouldn't do, by the way, unless you're just exploring. I got bored waiting for Heavensward, so.
I'm not Heavensward yet.
Nope.
No, waiting, not of it. Yeah, when you had that 3 or 4 weeks of it, it's coming soon! It's coming soon! But yeah, so anyway, I want to give a shout out to everyone on Ultros. I hope anyone's listening. My friend Sophie, I hope we talked about those Aether accounts. I know you brought those up in the free company chat. And anyone else on Ultros that I'm going to advertise this to and annoy just to make them listen to it. Thanks for listening if you listen. Anyone else got a shout out?
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
We're gonna shout out to the Excalibur server.
Yeah, sure. I'll shout out to my free company Aurora. I'll point them to the link once that's up. Thanks to everyone who is visiting PSU to check out this podcast, and thank you for reading all of our other stuff, especially the Final Fantasy 14 content. We've got Chili's awesome review, his guides. We've got my interview with Yoshi P. Be sure to check that out.
Which is awesome.
For me, that's one of the most meaningful things that I've ever done in games. So that was just a really, really cool moment for me, being able to just sit with that guy for like 45 minutes in like this private room. It was super, super surreal. So, it was just on a personal level one of the coolest things I've ever done. So
I'm so jealous.
I'm also going to shout out to just Yoshi P himself and everyone on the Square Enix Final Fantasy 14 team for just creating such a great game, something that I've spent way too many hours playing and have had such immense enjoyment from playing. So thank you for that.
And you didn't think you ever would fall in love with an MMO.
I did not. I did not think I was an MMO girl, but
here we are.
By the way, you can check. You can check how long you played it, by the way, now.
Wait, you can?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Backslash playtime.
Oh God!
I don't want to know.
Is this...
I'm at 104 days.
Oh my God!
Oh, Chili! No.
Hey, I've got friends that are like, "Oh, I'm at 200." I'm like, okay.
104 days. So you're up in the 2,100 hours range, 2,200.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So this, oh dear. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Chili. The moment we end this podcast, that's what I'm going to go check.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in 3 years though. Anyway, so yeah, was that the shout-outs?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thank you everyone for listening. There'll be another Unchained this week, like normal. Hopefully, as long as Mike hasn't disappeared and got pissed again. And by pissed, I mean drunk, if anyone's listening in North America.
Of course.
So have a good night, have a good time, and enjoy Heavensward, because we sure do. Damn sure do.
Absolutely. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.